So now we can resize the brush. I'm going to paint in some rocky shapes. So the first thing I want to fix in the brush that I'm creating is I want to be able to put down some more angular marks. So I'm going to hit E for the eraser tool. I'm going to select the default round brush, use Alt, right click and drag on my stylus, and we're just going to cut away the edges of this to make it a little bit more angular and irregular. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is control click on the layer thumbnail. This will make a selection of the layer itself. I can go edit, define brush preset, and I'll hit OK for now. And you'll see the UI has changed. I'm going to hit Control D to deselect, and let's make a new layer and let's test it out. So firstly, I'm just going to resize, and I did have the eraser tool selected. So it's actually the eraser set to that shape, but with pressing B and the brush tool selected, I'll just have to right click and I can find my new brush here. So now my brush is selected, I can paint with that. But how is that going to help me draw rocks? Well, if we go to Window and Brush Settings, which by default is F5, I can start editing this brush. Let's change the spacing. I'm going to get some chunky vibes here. So the first thing let's look at is shape dynamics. This is going to affect the shape of how each stamp of this brush appears. So let's introduce some size jitter. You can see a live preview of that. I can add pen pressure as an influence on the size. So if I press gently, it's small. If I press firmly, it's slightly larger. I'm going to up the minimum diameter there. And I'm also going to introduce a little bit of angle jitter. So now when I paint something like this, it's automatically starting to give me some nice rock silhouettes. I'll tweak the roundness jitter as well. And we'll go flip X and flip Y. And that's going to introduce a little bit more randomness as well. So there we go. This is our first rock brush.